One player was forced to play while his wife was dying. Another got to play alongside his entire family. These are the 10 most emotional moments in NHL history. And first up, one player made the whole world believe in the impossible because David Ayres was 42 years old. And like most of us, he had never played in the NHL. From 2014-15, he served as a backup to the Toronto Maple Leafs and Carolina Hurricanes minor league teams. But in 2020, all hopes of playing professionally seemed to vanish. Instead, he worked as a Zamboni driver for a hockey team called the Toronto Marlies. But one day, that was all about to change. The date was February 22nd, 2020, and the Carolina Hurricanes witnessed the unthinkable. First, their starting goalie James Reimer went down with an injury, and then their backup goalie came into the game only to do this.
Mrazek well out! A heavy collision with Gauthier, and Mrazek is down, and it all breaks out.
Dang, bro. 2 injuries in a single game. No one could have seen this coming. Ayres was just sitting in the stands with his wife when all of a sudden the Hurricanes started searching the crowd for an emergency goalie. That's when Ayres got his chance.
Riemsdyk along the boards, Tavares centering pass, a chance! Ayres said no! It's loose in the crease, he's got it! To the slot. A shot blocked by Van Riemsdyk. The rebound off the stick of Ayres. It goes high, chopped in. 3 seconds left. Here's Clifford. Stopped by David Ayres.
At 42 years of age, this dude stopped 8 out of 10 shots. And the best part of it all? The Hurricanes took home the W, making Ayres the oldest goalie in NHL history to win his regular season debut. But that's only one of the 10 most emotional moments. Because at number 9, Mario Lemieux shocked everyone. See, Lemieux was as good as it got. From 1984 to 1997, almost nobody was better. In his last 9 seasons, he led the NHL in points scored 6 times. This included 1997, where he capped off the season with an announcement no one saw coming.
Tonight, we retire the number of a man that has become a household name. During his career, Mario gave so much to the city of Pittsburgh. Tonight, we have the opportunity to honor his accomplishments and celebrate his achievements. Please join me in welcoming number 66, Mario Lemieux.
This dude was arguably the greatest hockey player on the planet, only to step away at his peak. But it turns out, Lemieux wasn't finished. 3 years had passed since Lemieux's final season, and all of a sudden, retirement was getting kind of boring. So this dude got off the couch and went straight back into the grind. And sure, it was a long shot, but if anyone could return, it was Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux will be at center to start this game. There was some question whether or not he would be a winger or a center tonight. Fans on their feet, a standing ovation. Sundin will take the draw against him, Matt Sundin, and Mario Lemieux is playing for the first time since April 26 of 1997.
Before the game, his jersey was in the rafters, and now Lemieux was back on the game's biggest stage. But things were about to get even crazier.
Yager comes in, makes a good move to turn back. Hit move! Mario Lemieux gets a goal! The board, Yager not to lose. There's Mario. Watch it. Centering play! And that is on! I don't see it. Came up behind him. Now he's centered.
Wow, this dude is built different. A goal, an assist, and 3 points? It's like my man never took a day off. But 3 nights later, Lemieux had an even bigger night.
He reaches in, he can't get to it. Phillips has been a pretty strong player tonight, but Lemieux gets it behind the goal, throws it in front. Loose puck, Pelle score. There's Yager. He jams it in. We're tied at 3. So Yager trying to go back in front of the net. It's loose. Lemieux reaches in. Feathered over for Corbet. Back to Mario. Walked in. There's Yager. What a play by the Penguins, and they have the lead. Yager to Lemieux, turns, wrap it around towards the empty net. It goes in! Lemieux will get a goal. The Penguins will ice it. They'll win 5-3, and ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building.
At this moment, the entire NHL realized they had a problem. And after only 53 games, Bro finished the season with 35 goals and 41 assists. Little did fans know, he was about to play another 4 seasons. However, there are some things bigger than hockey, and in 2001, the world was about to find out why. See, Saku Koivu wasn't the best hockey player in the world, but his value went far beyond the ice. He played 6 seasons for the Montreal Canadiens before one of his teammates began to realize something was off. That's because Brian Savage and Koivu were traveling back from Finland, and Savage noticed his teammate looked extremely pale. And it's not just that, but Koivu was suffering from some serious stomach pains and non-stop vomiting. That's when their worst fear came true. It was a form of cancer called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, Koivu wouldn't just be fighting on the ice, he'd be fighting for his life. And for over a year, fans wondered if he'd ever return to the NHL. But a year later, something happened that touched everyone. Man, that's gotta warm your heart. This dude fought back and was able to return to do what he loved. And it doesn't get much more emotional than that, except for our 7th moment. Because NHL goalkeeper Craig Anderson cares about 2 things more than anything else: family and hockey. And on October 30th, 2016, those 2 worlds became one. Just a day earlier, the Ottawa Senators announced that his wife Nicole had cancer. And this news rocked Anderson at his core. Earlier in the week, he took a personal leave to spend more time with his wife.
Nicole Anderson has been diagnosed with cancer. It's very early in the process. We don't have many tests right now, but we're there for them. And right now they're in a wait period. Given that we're in a wait period, and Andrew Hammond's injury last night, Nicole told Craig to phone me, which he did during the game. We talked to Craig after the game, and it was determined that because they were in a wait period and they were going to drive to Ottawa together as a family today, that it would be all right for Craig to come and rejoin his team.
But after fellow goalie Andrew Hammond went down with an injury, his personal leave caught fire, and Anderson was thrown back into the fire. That's when Craig Anderson made it a mission to make it a game to remember.
Centering pass with David, and Anderson with an enormous stop. Here's a chance, and look at Anderson up to challenge and make another. Ryan, empty netter, and it's 2-0 Ottawa.
Look at Craig Anderson's reaction.
One of the most remarkable shutouts in Ottawa Senator history.
A shutout? That's mad impressive. However, it wasn't the end result that mattered. It was about the why.
Cheering for Craig Anderson, who records his 2nd shutout of the season, the 35th of his career.
You've got 2 types of family when you're a professional hockey player. You've got your nuclear family, your family, but then the other ones that extend to that dressing room, and that's a heck of a moment.
A moment to himself. He's going to be introduced as one of the stars.
And staying on the ice, Cam Talbot to recognize Craig Anderson.
Number 41, Craig Anderson.
I think that's the loudest cheer in a building for a visiting goaltender after a shutout. And
good things happen to good people, which is exactly what happened to the Colorado Avalanche. In 1979, Ray Bourque went 8th overall to the Boston Bruins. And over the next 21 years, he was the heart and soul of the Bruins. In those 15 years, he was even named the team's captain. But there was still one thing that voided him: a Stanley Cup. He had played in over 1,600 regular season games and 214 playoff games. But time after time, the Bruins fell short. And unfortunately, he never got a chance to win with the Bruins. Because in 2000, the Bruins traded their biggest star to the Colorado Avalanche. Little did Bourque know, this was a blessing in disguise. In 2001, the Avalanche made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And it would come down to an all-deciding Game 7.
incredible resilience. The Colorado Avs trying to take something away.
Power play goal! 3-0 Colorado! The Colorado Avalanche have won the Stanley Cup! Raymond Bourque, a dream has come true!
over 2 decades, one of hockey's best defensive men finally got his flowers. Yet, there's a long-lasting tradition that the team captain has the right to touch the Stanley Cup first. Only that tradition was about to change.
And for the second time, the Colorado Avalanche franchise has won.
Congratulations to the Avalanche on a remarkable season. Joe Sakic, come get the cup so he and the rest of your teammates can hoist.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche, and after 22 years, Raymond Bourque!
When a group of people come together to celebrate a single man, you can't help but get emotional. However, one name I'll never forget is Pelle Lindbergh. And in 1979, he made history. He was the first European-born goaltender to be drafted in the NHL entry draft, and the first to achieve success in North America. He also owns the distinction of being the goaltender on the only team that didn't lose the Team USA at the 1980 Olympics. But in 1985, he was about to make even more history. He won the Vezina Trophy, awarded to the best goaltender in the NHL, the first ever European goaltender to win the award. That same season, he was also named a first-team All-Star. But out of the blue, he was about to throw it all away. See, it was the early hours of November 10th, 1985, and Lindbergh was driving under the influence through Somerdale, New Jersey. Before the next thing he knew, he lost control. For the next few seconds, he watched his custom Porsche 930 Turbo have a mind of its own. That's when his car with 2 passengers struck a wall in front of a nearby elementary school. A few moments later, he was rushed to the hospital, wondering if he'd even make it out alive. That's when the NHL broke the news.
All hockey fans tonight with the news that Philadelphia Flyer All-Star goaltender Pelle Lindbergh lies brain dead in a Stratford, New Jersey hospital following an early morning auto accident in Somerdale, New Jersey.
Once the players heard this, they were completely distraught.
As I stand before you tonight, I feel that our hearts are one. Every single one of us lost someone we respected, someone who made us very happy, and someone who made us awfully proud. A man who loved hockey, a man who loved his family, and a man who loved the fans. No single moment in my entire career has been as difficult as this one. This one is filled with flashbacks of one of the most memorable and positive relationships the game of hockey could ever produce.
He was only 26 years old, but his decision to drink and drive cost him his life. But not all emotional moments are sad ones. And for number 4, one family's long life dream became a reality. See, Gordie Howe is one of the greatest players to ever pick up a hockey stick. He's a 4-time champion, a 21-time All-Star, and a member of the NHL's 100th anniversary team. But his most rewarding accomplishment wasn't anything he did on the ice. Instead, it all boiled down to a single night. February 7th, 1980. 9 years had passed since Gordie's retirement. He was just a few weeks shy of his 52nd birthday, but it was as if he had never left.
And from the Hartford Whalers, representing all of hockey with great distinction for 5 decades, number 9.
But it wasn't just the ovation which was so special. It was the people. Over 21,000 fans cheering him on. That's what you call a moment. But what's even more spectacular is that Gordie got to play alongside his 2 sons, which that's enough to make any dad shed a tear. However, our final 3 moments will make you shed a tear. And honestly, I never thought I'd see the day that Wayne Gretzky's and the Oilers went their separate ways. But in 1988, the Oilers shocked the entire hockey world.
A heavy heart for our community and our hockey club, but I guess with delight and sincere best wishes for Wayne Gretzky, that I announce, and I guess more important, confirm that the Edmonton Oilers have agreed to trade Wayne Gretzky to Los Angeles.
Let's get this straight. Bro had been it all. In 9 seasons with the franchise, he led the Oilers to 4 Stanley Cups. You'd think they'd be indebted to this man. But the sports world is a business, and Gretzky learned this the hard way.
I'm disappointed about having to leave Edmonton. I truly admire all the fans and respect everyone over the years. But promised Mess I wouldn't do this. But as I said, there comes a time when
to do my man dirty like that. He's literally the GOAT. And if Wayne Gretzky can be traded, anyone can be traded. But for number 2, it's the craziest NHL game you'll ever watch. It was Game 3 of the Smithy Division semifinals, and the Los Angeles Kings had just stunned everyone. They were up against Gretzky's Oilers, and they had already pulled off a Game 1 upset. But now, the Oilers knew what to expect. After a commanding Game 2 victory, the momentum had appeared to shift once again, meaning that whoever won Game 3 would be one victory away from winning the series. Only once the third period had rolled around, the Oilers were already up 5-0. This game was over. For reference, the Kings barely even made the playoffs. They finished the regular season 24-41 with 15 ties. They had no business to even be in this situation. But now that they were, there was no turning back. That's when they caught fire.
And Jay Wells scored. I thought, well, at least we didn't get... And then we get another goal, and it's 5-2. Doug Smith scored. And then we go all the way to about 8 minutes when Charlie Simmer scores. And when he scored to make it 5-3, 4 minutes to go, Mark Hardy scores, and now it's just bedlam.
Not gonna lie, scoring 4 goals in the final period? I didn't even know that was possible. But with less than 10 seconds remaining, the Oilers were still up by 1, meaning that unless a miracle happened, this game was still over. Well, about that...
Can't hold it. Taken away by Fox. Fox in front to the blue line to Hardy. He shoots. Save. Rebound. Score! Do you believe it? I see it and I still don't.
No way! These dudes had to be toying with us the whole time. These guys were wild for that. And once overtime came around, fans already knew what was going to happen next.
On the draw. Shot by Evans. He scores!
Not gonna lie, that might be the most impressive stretch of hockey I've ever seen. But the Oilers still had Wayne Gretzky on their side, and all they had to do was win the next 2 games in a row. But once again, the Kings were just toying with my man. They let the Oilers win Game 4, just to end the series in Game 5. These dudes really have a flair for the dramatic. Although, nothing was more dramatic than our most emotional moment. See, Britney Cecil was one of the Columbus Blue Jackets' biggest fans. You wouldn't have guessed it, but this 13-year-old was as diehard as anyone. So as an early celebration of her 14th birthday, she got to go watch a game in person. But that celebration wouldn't last long. During a 2002 game, a player went to shoot the puck. That's when things went terribly wrong. See, a player on the opposing team also got a stick on the puck, and the next thing they knew, the puck shot up into the stands. Only it was heading straight for one person, Britney Cecil. And that's when their worst fears became true.
Blue Jacket forward Espen Knutsen takes this slap shot. It deflects off a Calgary defender's stick and hits 14-year-old Britney Cecil, who is sitting near the top of the section. She's seen here with another fan who presses a jacket to Britney's face. Britney is standing and appears to be okay. Then the
shot fractured her skull, leaving a nasty gash, and she was immediately rushed to the hospital. But that's when things got really weird. Her CT scan failed to identify a brain bleed as a result of a torn artery, and the hospitals decided to return her home. The worst possible decision. Once Britney returned home, she developed a severe fever and lost consciousness. Just when her luck couldn't have gotten any worse, she was pronounced dead 2 days after being struck. And this sent the entire world into disbelief.
But for those on hand at the March 16, 2002 game between the Calgary Flames and the Columbus Blue Jackets, it wasn't just another night. Not 2 days later, when we found out that Britney Cecil, just days before she was to turn 14, had died. The first question everybody who was there had to be asking is, how? We all watched her get up, we all watched her walk out of the lower bowl, going for stitches. Tough kid, we all thought. She would be a perfect hockey fan. Espen Knutsen shot that puck, and he went from a happy-go-lucky guy to someone who lost his passion for the game. He could barely go to the rink after a while. Flames' Derek Morris, who deflected it, he still doesn't like to talk about it. And what do you do about a family that's devastated having lost their child?
That's when the NHL decided to step in. They were devastated and wanted to ensure something like this never happened again. So they have since implemented nets above the glass behind each net. And in the 20 years since, this change has kept many fans out of harm's way. But it still doesn't take away from the tragedy that took a fan's life. But as we remember the life of a fan taken too soon, it's also time for a new video to begin. So click the screen, and I'll see you there.